Alright, we're going to be recording another two-man with the black-green rock deck. The list right now is the same as it was on the Dex Tech. I'll provide a link to that on this YouTube video, so please check that out. We're just going to go here, playing the standard event. Playing against Two Belkane. I haven't figured out how to get the chat to cooperate, so that's going to be minimized most of the time. Have the preview window up here. So he's going to decide whether or not to play first. Probably going to play first since we're playing constructed. We'll just see how things are. I like that they went back to the 25-minute timer. It's helpful. A lot of decks like the blue-white Quicken deck can just make an annoying use out of having so much extra time. Games that they would have lost, they win. Okay, so let's look at this hand. We don't have double black, and we have a lot of double black removal spells. We also have a 5-drop and a 6-drop and only 2 lands, so I'm going to mulligan this, see what our 6 looks like. So our 6 also has a bunch of double black removal spells, but this time we do have 2 black. We also have a Caryatid and a Read the Bones. This is a very good 6, unless we're playing... Actually, this is pretty good against everyone. Okay, so he's going to Thoughtseize us. Probably take the Sylvan Caryatid. It's good we have double Bile Blight. We're just probably very resilient to Pack Rat here. It's going to hurt to lose the Caryatid. I was relying on that to get the 3rd mana for the Read the Bones. But all in all, mulliganing and Thoughtseizing can end up a lot worse than this looks like it's going to be. Of course, if he has a second Thoughtseize, he can take Bile Blight, and then we're just going to die to a Pack Rat very quickly. But it looks like that's not what's happening. So we draw another land. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Temple. I was going to play it to look for another land, but 3 is good. So now we need to decide if we want to keep this Overgrown Tomb or put it on the bottom. I like to hit all my land drops with this deck. We have 2 removal spells, so we have stuff to do. We're only really in trouble against the Desecration Demon, so I'm going to go ahead and keep this. Just keep making land drops. Hopefully he doesn't have another Thoughtseize for the Read the Bones. That would put us a little low on action, and then we might struggle to keep up with the Desecration Demon or an Underworld Connections. Okay, so he's just going to sign and blood himself. So we're just going to go back and forth here, paying some life to cast some spells, draw some cards, which is sometimes how this match goes. Sometimes they just have a really quick Pack Rat, and they get you. I don't think I want to pay 2 life, but it is something to consider here. If he plays Night Veil Spectre or Pack Rat next turn, I'd like to be able to Bile Blight it. But I think with the Read the Bones, I want to maintain my life total. I don't have a lot of main deck life gain in this version without the Primeval Bounties that I was running in the Constellation version of Black-Green. Plus one of the Coursers has been moved to the sideboard, so we do need to do some work preserving our life total. So this looks like the mono black version. Temple of Deceit just makes Night Veil Spectre better against mono blue. So here's a Pack Rat. So we're just going to have to Bile Blight that, which means we do get to play our Overgrown Tomb tapped again. So there's a Llanowar Waste. So we don't have to Bile Blight this now. We can see what he does on his turn. I'm going to take 1 damage if he attacks, because I'd like to try and get him to make another rat. Just try and get a 2 for 1. I'm happy to pay 1 life. So here, we're going to have to Bile Blight the rat on this turn. We don't want to let him make another one and then have Mutavault. So again, I'll take 1 damage here. He can animate Mutavault. If he animates Mutavault... Okay, so he's actually making a token. So that's great. We're going to get a free Watery Grave out of this Bile Blight. And then does it? Yeah, so he animates Mutavault. This doesn't go great for him. We're going to get Bile Blight and just take his entire turn. 2 cards. Yeah. So that's pretty good for us. So let's see what we draw again. So we've got a Thoughtseize, so let's go ahead and Thoughtseize him first. See what he's doing. Lots of Pack Rats and then some removal. So I'm going to just take a Pack Rat here. And then I'm going to Read the Bones. I'm going to just look for removal, especially Abrupt Decay. So here's a Thoughtseize. I don't think I actually care about Thoughtseize. I don't want to draw more lands. So there's an Abrupt Decay for Underworld Connections or Pack Rat and a Reaper of the Wilds, which is good against his hand because he didn't have Devour Flesh. He's going to play Pack Rat. We're going to Bile Blight it. So he's going to attack us with Mutavault. Let's draw. Do a Temple. I'm going to play the Temple. See what we can put on top. Again, just don't want to have any more lands. I do like to hit extra land drops, but you get enough of them naturally. So when I already have 6 lands between hand and play, I don't need to keep more on top. So what we're going to do here is Abrupt Decay the Pack Rat and have Bile Blight up for his Mutavault. He might draw Underworld Connections, which would be really bad for that play, but otherwise it's much better. So he's playing lands, beginning of combat. Okay, so he's not going to bring in the Mutavault. He's playing around the Boblight he knows we have. So yeah, like I said, you just draw enough lands naturally once you have a good number. So we're just going to play the Reaper of the Wilds. He'll probably Hero's Downfall it. We'll make it hexproof it. He'll use another removal spell on his turn. That's fine. I'm not going to wait for 8 mana to protect the Reaper twice. Okay. He may have had the Devour Flesh in his hand already. That's still fine. This way we have Bile Blight up for the Mutavault still. And we know he has a Hero's Downfall in his hand. We don't know what the other cards are, I believe. So there's the Underworld Connections. It's a little painful. So we do need to draw either a threat or an Abrupt Decay for the Underworld Connections. So Courser is not really a threat, but it does let us have a little bit of card. Ooh, that's just really bad. That's really unfortunate. We may actually lose the game because that Caryatid is just so bad. We're not going to be able to really put any pressure on him. We're not going to be able to answer the Underworld Connections. He's just going to draw a bunch of cards. And we're just drawing Caryatid this turn. So there's Thoughtseize. There's no targets for the Bile Blight, so we're just going to let him take it. He can't really bring in with Mutavault right now anyway because of the Courser. So yeah, he's going to kill the Courser. We're going to draw and play the Caryatid, which will still keep the Mutavault back. And then we really need to hit something like an Abrupt Decay, a Reaper, a Garruk, or an Ancient Silverback to really put a lot of pressure on his life. He is at 12, but if we don't draw pressure, that's 11 more cards he can draw with this, not counting Grey Merchants and Devour Fleshes. Even if we just have something like a Courser of Kruphix, we can hit him for 2, 4, 6. So that's interesting. He probably does have blue cards. My guess would be this is the version that was sideboarding Negate and a Notion Thief if he's going to run Watery Grave. So now we're going to bring in Mutavault. We have a large life total because of the 2 Devour Fleshes, so we're not in immediate danger from this Mutavault, but we still are in the position where we need to draw some action. And we're just drawing. We're very land flooded this game. I believe we scribed 3 lands to the bottom, and we've still drawn 1, 2, 5, 8 lands. So we can now cast Hornet Queen. We can cast Ancient Silverback with multiple regeneration up. We can cast Garruk. Everything in our deck is going to be playable. So here's a Pack Rat. So now we actually are in danger of losing the game fairly quickly. Probably 2 or 3 turns with this Pack Rat will be enough. So we need to draw something now. And it's another land. So my guess is we're losing this game. There's really not very much in our deck that we can draw to come back from this position specifically. Yeah, so he's just going to make a rat, discard Thoughtseize. Makes sense. Nothing in our hand at all. I could try and hold a land to make him Thoughtseize us, but that just doesn't really seem like it's going to do anything. Yeah. So now Bile Blight is no longer an out because he has Mutavault. So if he taps Underworld Connection Swamp to draw a card and attacks with this Mutavault, then we can draw Bile Blight, our third and final Bile Blight, to kill the rats. But we're still looking at a Mutavault and an Underworld Connections. So it's just lands. We're going to draw play land, concede game. It is very, very dead. He had to deal with, I believe, all 4 pack rats this game. Alright, so Courser brings out in this match. He just dies to Lifebane Zombie and is not particularly strong anyway. Garrett comes in. Silence comes in. Hero's Downfall comes in. Besides that, I don't want Stain the Mind. I don't want Drown in Sorrow. I think about Reclamation Sage, but it's not particularly strong. I'd like to bring in the Ancient Silverback instead of the Hornet Queen, I think. So then what we're thinking about now is Reclamation Sage and In Garrick's Wake. In Garrick's Wake is good late game. I care about it more in the white-black version that has Blood Barons that we can't easily deal with otherwise. And then Reclamation Sage is just an extra answer to the Underworld Connections, which you saw is fairly good against us in this first game. So what we could do, we could take out Encroaching Waste, but I actually like Encroaching Waste against the decks with Mutavault and Underworld Connections. We could take out Whip of Erebos. Is not particularly strong in this matchup. We didn't see Night Veil Spectre, but I'm going to keep in all the Bile Blights because they're very strong against Pack Rat. Without Hornet Queen, I think Whip is not doing a large amount of work, so I'm going to bring in the Reclamation Sage. Then I don't think I want in Garrick's Wake. If we see some kind of creature that's difficult to deal with in Game 2 and win Game 2, we'll try it out. So we're going to be on the play first. So again, here's a 2-land hand with a Caryatid. This one does have double black, and it also has a turn 3 Reaper if we draw a land. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this. I'm glad that I didn't side out the land. I just want to have any lands left in my deck with the opening hand like this. So again, if we get Thoughtseize and he takes our Caryatid, this hand goes from passable to very bad. If he also has Thoughtseize, okay, so he's just going to start on a tapped land, so we'll be able to get our Caryatid into play. Now, we know that he did have Devour Flesh in his deck. I would imagine he didn't sideboard them out. So it's possible that our Caryatid will get devoured. Okay, good. So we drew another land. So that was really what we were looking for, is just any land. A green land would have been a little bit better because we have the Ancient Silverback already. But really, any land is fine at this point. By the time we can get to 6 mana for the Silverback plus 1 for regeneration, it's likely that we'll have drawn 1 more green source anyway. So he can take, depending on what his hand is, if he has Pack Rat, he'll want to take the Downfall. If he has Connections, he'll want to take the Sage. If he's not planning to win with either of those, say he has something like Desecration Demon, he probably takes the Reaper here. So I would imagine he's copying down our hand, writing it on Notepad or in the chat log or something. So he's probably thinking, who is this guy playing Ancient Silverback in constructed tournaments? Yeah, so it looks like there may be a Pack Rat coming in. Ooh, Pack Rat plus Mutavault is very good. So we'll need to draw removal spells pretty well. So let's go ahead and, so there's an Abrupt Decay, that's great. So let's go ahead and play the Reaper. And he probably will kill it, but again, it's better to play the card and trade it 1 for 1 in this matchup than to hold on to it. Okay, so he's just going to play Pack Rat. So this is actually really good. Do we want to stop in our upkeep? I think we do. So we're stopping already. Okay. So what we're going to do is upkeep, Abrupt Decay the Pack Rat. So we can scry before we draw with the Reaper trigger. Then we get an Abrupt Decay. So really I wanted a land. Abrupt Decay is a reasonable spell if we're going to draw a spell though. If I didn't have the Sage, I think I would keep Abrupt Decay because of Underworld Connections. But I'm just going to put the Abrupt Decay on the bottom. So there's a Garrick, so we didn't draw a land anyway. But if we had put the Abrupt Decay on the top, we would have been even farther away from drawing land. And we have 4, so we can cast the Sage, we can activate the Reaper to hexproof it. We're doing fairly well. If he has Devour Flesh, I'm not sure what I want to sacrifice. I may hexproof the Reaper and then sacrifice the Caryatid. That's just very painful to do, but we'll see what he has. He may have a Desecration Demon here, which we can race. So he has Night Veil Spectre, that's fine. So there's a land. So we'll attack with the Reaper first and then play the land after combat. Okay, so he's actually going pretty low on life. So if he has, maybe he has like Grey Merchant here to just go back up to 13 and get in a hit with the Night Veil, which would be a decent play from him. What we're hoping here is just that he plays something like Underworld Connections or Whip of Erebos that we can hit with the Reclamation Sage, add another body to the board, and oh, that's actually horrible for us. I really didn't want him to hit that, especially with a Night Veil in play. If he can turn this Erebos on and we can't get rid of this Night Veil quickly, we are going to have a very difficult time winning, and that's just going to close the match out for him. It's possible he doesn't want to cast it. Maybe he has like Desecration Demon. But this is looking pretty rough. Yes, he's got another Night Veil. So if we can draw a Bile Blight, we're just going to do a huge amount of damage to him. So let's read the bones first, try and hit that Bile Blight. Hero's Downfall. I'm just going to dig straight only for Bile Blight. That may be wrong. So, yeah, so he's at 4 life, so my guess is that he's got to have a Grey Merchant this turn. His play doesn't really make sense otherwise. He's probably going to come in with Night Veil, see if he can hit like a Thoughtseize and a land. I think even after he Grey Merchants for 8, if we can immediately draw a Bile Blight, then we're still in a pretty good shape to win the game. So he's got an Overgrown Tomb here and a Temple here. So land. So we're digging farther into Bile Blight. We've got to read the bones to see at least 4 more cards next turn. So he casts the Erebos. So if we draw a Bile Blight this turn and we are going to see several cards, does he have Devour Flesh here? That would be really bad. No. Okay. So let's draw. We can Temple to Scry. Put Temple on the bottom. Read the bones. Come on, just Bile Blights. Bottom. Thoughtseize. Nope. Okay, so if we... What can we do? Do we die here? So he has Erebos. Erebos hits us for 5, 7, 9. We can block the Mutavault. So I'm going to Thoughtseize him. I think this is correct. Take a Grey Merchant out of his hand if he has one. Okay, Underworld Connection. So how much mana does he have? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So he has 6 mana plus Overgrown Tomb. So I'm going to take the connections. And then we're going to pass the turn. So he can't really attack with everything or he dies. I guess he can Bile... No, that won't save him because we could hexproof it next turn if he Bile Blights to try and shrink it and prevent combat damage. So we're still alive. We have 1 more turn to hit Bile Blight. If he attacks with Erebos, I'm blocking with Caryatid. Okay, he doesn't. So we're going to take 4. We're going to go to 4. Let's just hope he hits 2 cards that are not Bile Blights. possible I should have just kept that Hero's Downfall, but any card that he casts, so there's a Silence of Believers would also have killed him, and Llanowar Waste. So I guess we have three Bile Blights and one more Silence the Believers that are outs to win the game. Actually, I don't even think that does it because now he has Mutavault up to block. So we need to just hit Bile Blight to just not die. And then we can attack and force a chump. Does he have Grave Merchant? No. So he has, so he drew our Silence and silenced our Reaper. So now we need to draw Bile Blight to not die. We do have another Reaper. So we're still in the game, but it's looking very bad. Our chances to win this are not great. He gets to scry again. Okay, so there's Bile Blight. So we could also Garruk and kill a Night Veil Spectre, but then he keeps one in play. So I think what we're going to do... No, we're going to play the Reaper first. And it's good that we have that Encroaching Waste to kill the Mutavault, so he won't be able to block with Mutavault. So let's take this, kill his Night Veil Specters, shuts off Erebos. He actually tapped the Mutavault. So if we had a haste guy, which maybe there aren't any in Standard in black or green. Liliana Vess is a good card in this matchup, but do we need to dig for something specific? So we have 7 mana and Garruk and Ancient Silverback. I think Liliana is actually fine. So we're going to pass. We're going to see if he kills our Reaper. If he doesn't kill the Reaper, he's drawing with Erebos? Okay. So he's got to have Grey Merchant in his deck. He's just trying to get to Grey Merchant and kill us. Actually doesn't even kill us. Grey Merchant puts us at 1. Second Mutavault is a good draw for him. Okay, so let's send in Reaper. My guess is he's going to make a Mutavault and block. Yep. Abrupt Decay. It's pretty good here. Again, we still have this Reclamation Sage that's just done nothing all game. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the top. And then I think I want to cast Ancient Silverback. Just get another body in the onto the board that is extremely lethal. Swamp, Bile Blight. Sure. Yeah. So he gets to kill our Reaper, but now we have a 6/5. We could have cast Liliana and made him discard and been able to hexproof the Reaper. Pack Rat. Pack Rat's fine. So there's that Abrupt Decay. So let's attack with Silverback. Is he going to block with Mutavault? Then we Abrupt Decay the Pack Rat. Then we play a Reclamation Sage. I'm fine letting him block instead of using the Encroaching Wastes. So now second main. Gonna Abrupt Decay Pack Rat. He's gonna discard a card to make a rat. We are going to play Reclamation Sage. We're going to target Erebos and say yes to the ability. Yes. Oh no, nothing happened. What a surprise. This guy is indestructible. What does he have? Nightveil Spectre. That's fine. Oh, animates Erebos. Interesting. That's actually pretty good. So what happens here? He can make another pack rat. He's actually going to get some damage in, so maybe we lose this game. Just Erebos, so we have to block. It's lethal. He has one card. He can make a pack rat. He'll have 3 blockers next turn. 1, 2, 3. You can play Garrick, kill the Nightveil Spectre if we keep our Caryatid. So we're going to block with the Reclamation Sage. Well, that's good. We can keep our Caryatid untapped. And we can have mana to regenerate Silverback. So do we want to... I think we want to play Forest, attack with Silverback. So he's going to block with Pack Rat, discard to make a Pack Rat. Then we're going to play Garrick and eat the Nightveil Spectre. Maybe we actually want to have Whip of Erebos in our deck in this matchup. It would have been pretty good this game. So now 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Garrick. Eat Nightveil Spectre. Can't gain life because of Erebos. This was just such a good hit for him off that Nightveil Spectre. Look how much work it's done. It's prevented us from gaining life. It's attacked us like 2 times. It held our Reaper off. So now he's just in Abyss mode where he's making and sacking a pack rat every turn until he draws something like Silence the Believers to get rid of the Silverback. So let's plus Garrick. Let's attack with Silverback. Yep, discard, make a rat. Discard your swamp. Play a Caryatid. Play a Liliana. Tutor. What do we want here? Not Thoughtseize and not Read the Bones for sure. Probably not another Liliana. We don't want mana, so we can get Reaper, Garrick, Silverback. Removal spell. We're still dead to Grey Merchant. I'm going to get Silence the Believers. And we're just going to hope he doesn't draw a Grey Merchant this turn. So he draws. He's in his main phase. He's not tapping mana, so either he's really slow rolling us or this game is over. Another pack rat. Sure. We're going to silence those pack rats. Adios, amigos. And let's send in the clowns. Yep, monkey business. Okay, so we're taking this to game 3. So let's see. Maybe we want Whip. Maybe we want Hornet Queen. So which of these cards were not good in those games? They were all actually pretty good. Erebos was obviously awful, but if it had been on our side of the table, it would have been great. Reclamation Sage didn't do very much. Maybe Whip or Hornet Queen would be better. He had Underworld Connections game 1. I don't think he would sideboard it out because of Abrupt Decay. But so we have these 3 cards are high impact. So Garrick's Wake, again, it's just really expensive. He's casting 1, 2, and 3 mana creatures, Pack Rat, Night Veil Spectre, maybe Lifebane, and Desecration Demon. A 9 mana answer is not where I want to be against creatures that I can answer with my 2 to 4 mana removal. So we're not going to bring that in again. Whip would have been really good that game. Obviously, we wouldn't have gained life because of the Erebos, but we would have been able to bring back Reaper. I don't know that it's particularly strong. So we just need to decide, do we want this Reclamation Sage more than Hornet Queen? I wish I had seen a Lifebane Zombie so I would know that it was correct to have these coursers outside of the deck. It may be that Read the Bones is better than Courser. It may be that Courser is better than Read the Bones. I'm going to keep the Caryatids in because he has Devour Flesh. Yeah, we have 4 Thought Seizes and 3 Abrupt Decays for his Underworld Connections, plus Encroaching Wastes. So we're going to go ahead and submit this. And hopefully he doesn't just have Thoughtseize Pack Rat and make that whole last game just not matter at all. Okay, so here's what we've got. We've got 4 lands. Our mana is perfect, but we don't do anything until turn 4. And he's keeping 7 cards. I don't really like to mulligan against the Thoughtseize decks. I'm trying to decide what this hand would be. We're very strong against Desecration Demon because we've got an answer that exiles it. We're okay against Night Veil Spectre again because we have Silence the Believers. We're in a lot of trouble against Pack Rat. We're in a lot of trouble against Underworld Connections. We do have a Temple to look for some faster spells. I'm going to keep... It's very close. If I didn't have the Temple, I would have mulliganed. I just hate mulliganing against decks with Thoughtseize. So he's going to Thoughtseize here. So if he has a Pack Rat and say we had a Bile Blight, he would have just taken it with the Thoughtseize anyway. That's why the mono black deck is very resilient. It's just really hard to beat. So he's going to take our Reaper. Reaper's a good card against him. Looks like he's not on the Demon plan, or he would have taken the Silence. So what do we draw here? Hopefully not land, and it's a land. We're going to play a Temple. We're going to look for a Bile Blight or an Abrupt Decay. I want to have an answer to Pack Rat. So we've got him playing Pack Rat this turn. We have a turn to draw an answer. If the answer that's closest to the top of our deck is Bile Blight. Okay, so he doesn't have Pack Rat. And then we draw Abrupt Decay. Yeah, excellent. Okay, so this hand is doing great. So we're just going to play the Temple. This time we are going to keep Read the Bones because we drew the 2 mana removal spell. So if he plays a Connections, a Pack Rat, or a Spectre, it's going to get decayed. Yeah, perfect. We're going to play our Overgrown Tomb tapped, and we're going to decay his Connections. My guess is that he doesn't have a 4th land because he usually would want to wait to cast that when he can immediately get some value out of it. Another possibility would be that he has a 2nd Underworld Connections, in which case it's going to be kind of sad that we took the Reclamation Sages out. But we're not going to be super far behind because we have Read the Bones and the Leon. So he has his own Erebos. He is correct at how good it is in this matchup. That's why we play it. That's why they play it. So what we can do is draw. And, pardon me. Sorry about that. Draw. It's a Sylvan Caryatid. whatever we do, we're going to hit Liliana next turn anyway, so I just think I want to read the bones. We'll do it before we play land in case we draw a temple or a tomb. I'm going to... do I want to keep? We've got 5 lands and a Caryatid. Let's just bottom both of these. It's kind of tempting to keep the temple, but we drew a swamp anyway. So let's just go ahead and play Llanowar Waste. We can bluff. There's probably not anything that's really important that we would be bluffing. Maybe Ulcerate would be playable, but we could have bluffed that with Swamp. I don't know what green spell. So he's got Sign in Blood. So he's playing Sign in Blood. We're playing Read the Bones. It's just very similar cards. Ooh, so he's double signing Blooding. Interesting. So that's his turn. He has a Mutavault. So let's think about what happens if we play Liliana. He probably can attack it with the Mutavault, but that doesn't kill it, and then after that we'll have shields up. So what I'm going to do is just play Liliana and just start going after his hand to deal with all this card advantage. He has 2 Sign in Bloods, Erebos, just lots of card advantage, and we're just going to try and keep his hand a little bit under control with our Liliana. And then possibly next turn we may want to tutor for our own Erebos and just have dueling Ereboses. Okay, so he's got Hero's Downfall, so we got a 2-for-1. And then he has Duress, which will take a removal spell, and we'll still have a removal spell. Duress is actually pretty good against us. We do have high impact creatures, but most of our stuff is not. And then some of our creatures, like the Caryatid, just don't really matter as much. They're good, but they're not game-breaking like Silverback would be. It's possible I should have just tutored for something without Liliana. Okay, so let's just go ahead and dump a bunch of Caryatids onto the table. What we want to dodge here is... Unreal Connections would not be great, but it doesn't do as much because he already has Erebos for that effect. Yeah, so it's just saving him 1 life and 1 mana for every card he draws with it. What we would like to dodge would be Desecration Demon. Okay, so he's just going to draw all the cards. He's got Erebos turned on. So now we're in trouble. I'm glad at least that we didn't just lose to Thoughtseize Pack-Rat. That would have been really disheartening. Yeah, we are getting pretty mana flooded. But again, we have a lot of expensive, high-impact spells. So having all this mana isn't awful, as long as we also draw the things that want us to have all this mana. Like the other Silence the Believers, one of our Garriks, one of our Silverbacks, even the Hornet Queen would be fine. I'm going to go ahead and block the Erebos this time. I didn't want to do it last time because I wanted to be able to cast Garrick if we hit it. I think we would have been able to do that anyway. I may have done math wrong. But we'll just throw a guy here. Okay, Grey Merchant is a pain in the butt. We can't kill it with Wild Light in response, so he's going to put us to 4. Now we're in some trouble. So let's see. Abrupt Decay would have been okay last turn. Not going to really do anything now. Yeah, we're losing this game. Garrick would let us stall for a while and hopefully draw something else to put it in our favor, but nothing else really matters. We just didn't draw any of our good spells, so I probably should have tutored with the Liliana. Okay. Alright, well, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys again later.